Hello and welcome to Theology on Tap. Today I want to talk about Star Wars, The Last Jedi that's coming out in December. Now, I'm not a Star Wars geek or anything like that, but I do watch all their movies and I've enjoyed all of them, and I'm really looking forward to the one that's coming up in December, The Last Jedi, mostly because it is the end of Jedi. And it's the beginning of a new hero. I guess it's going to be Rey, the Gray. And I'm looking forward to that. The whole idea of Rey the Gray is something that's wonderful, in my opinion, because she is going to be taught in the ways of the Jedi, which is good, as well as the dark side of the Force. And she's going to become master of both. So she's going to be super powerful, right? Who can go against her? But means that she also has anger. She will also have hatred, as well as good, right? And I really like that idea, and I think that's the way it should be, because then you don't really have to worry about the side of the Jedis and all the good it supposed to represent, and also who has to fight against the dark side of the Force. So there's no opposing sides that are always at war with one another. You know, it's kind of like the old Chinese way of life, right? Yin and yang. Somehow there's a balance between the dark and the good, right? There's always the balance. So if there's greater the evil in the world, somehow we tend to bring up the goodness in the world to balance it, and vice versa. And I mean, I always thought that was kind of a cool idea, but I think the best way to deal with it is to say, let's get rid of those both sides in a way that let's combine them together and create a new color, a new way of life. And I really like that. And I don't know how it's going to be. I don't know how Rey the Gray is going to be. But if she has the strength of the dark side of the Force as well as the good side of the Force, and I don't know how they're going to do it, but I think it's going to be good. Now, if I apply that into, like, in a Christian life, what if there really isn't heaven and hell? And, I guess Star Wars is kind of like that, right? There's the good and evil, and heaven, hell kind of understanding. And you're not just fighting for heaven, and you're not just fighting against heaven because you're in hell kind of a thing. What if we don't have to say that if you believe you go to heaven, if you don't, you go to hell? What if we don't have to say that? What if we're all under one, right, under God, and the opposing sides are kind of working together for His glory? What if it's like that? There's an old Jewish writing that I read that actually says something like, when the devil and Satan comes to tempt you, he's tempting you so that you may learn to overcome, right? It's not so that he is tempting you to be awful, to be evil, to go against God, but temptations and things like that are coming so that we could actually work ourselves to become better. Khalil Gibran's poem about, I forget what about joy, I think, or suffering in life. He's saying is that you can't separate joy and suffering because they're all one and the same, right? That you may go through sufferings in life to dig into your heart so that joy could replace it later on, so that your joy may be even full, so that without suffering that there is no joy. So they kind of work together. One thing that he says something about is that when you're going through the sufferings in your life, you have to remember the joy is right there with the suffering. However, if you're going through goodness or joyful times in your life, you got to remember that their suffering is right there with it too, so that when you're going through joy, enjoy it as much as you can because suffering is coming. Or when you're going through the suffering, remember joy is coming. Does that make sense? And I kind of like that. So if I think about Jesus, even God said He hates evil. So, God can hate. Jesus, when he went to the temple and saw what humans were doing, he made a whip out of ropes and whatnot, and then he started getting violent. He got really angry. So angry is good if it's used for good, right reasons. let's say selfishness, I don't know why it's bad. Selfishness, I think, is a wonderful thing. Without being selfish, I wouldn't wear a tie or take a shower or eat when I really want the things that I want, or even to drive a nice car or whatnot. Selfishness is a wonderful thing. Or even pride. Pride is a good thing. A lot of times as Christians, when I was growing up, it told me to stay away from such thing as pride, and to selfishness is no good and whatnot. But it didn't make that much sense to me. Because the more you try not to be selfish, you're doing it for selfish reasons anyways, right? Because you want to get closer to God. So a lot of times when we're giving or helping other people, we're doing it because it makes us feel good. So in a way, we're doing it for our own selfishness. So it's a wonderful thing, isn't it? So instead of dividing people up to say heaven and hell, the whole idea of coming together, not like yin and yang where there is a balance, but why don't we combine it together to create something brand new? Right? Maybe that's the way it should be. And I kind of like that idea. Even in Christianity, instead of talking about heaven and hell, let's just say all emotions and all the greed to whatever is it's a thing that could help us to get better and to progress in life, where all heavens and earth will come together in Jesus Christ. Yeah, coming together. I kind of like that. I really do. It's kind of like when marriage. You know, I think marriage is one of the most important thing in life. If you have good marriage, you could have raise good kids, and maybe the problems in the world will go over in a couple of generations. Who knows? But I think marriage is very important. But when people talk about marriage, we got male and female coming together, right, under one head. So it's kind of like yin and yang, right? There's the male figure and then there's the female figure, and it creates a great balance. You know, so we got to know what male's roles are and female roles are, whatever it may be. But maybe the reason why so many people in marriage don't get along is because, you know, we're together and yet we become kind of opposing force, right? Just because we're married doesn't mean, why not just kind of coming together to create one? Just like in the beginning when God created Adam, he didn't create Eve separately. He created Adam. He created Eve out of Adam, right? Because they were one at one point. And in marriage, you're supposed to come together and become one being. I mean, that's what marriage is supposed to be anyway. So if we're together and yet separate, doesn't make any sense. We have to become one being. I think that will work. Same thing with heaven and hell. We have to become one in order to make it work, coming together in Jesus Christ. See, I'm really excited about that. So when I look forward to this movie that's coming up, and I know I was watching Beyond the Trailers, and she didn't like the idea about the Jedi going away, because Luke is going to be the last Jedi. No more force that is just one-sided, right? Fighting against another force that's another, and they're at war with each other, trying to see who is better and whatnot. They're constantly fighting, and a lot of people suffer because of it. But she didn't like the idea of the Jedi Order going away, because a lot of people have invested a lot of time and people have committed themselves to it. If it's gone, then what the people are gonna do? And I think she was thinking they might not be a good idea, but I think it's a great idea to get rid of that. I don't know how the movie is gonna do it, to be honest with you, but maybe the problem is people invest so much on one side. Let's say if you're a Christian, just Christianity so much that we don't know the other side. We don't know what they're going through. We're always fighting the other side, and maybe that's not a good thing. Maybe it's not. Because I know in Star Wars, it didn't work, because if you watch episode after another, they're doing the same thing, always at war with each other, right? It's time for the Jedi to end. Man, it brought chills to me. Man, it was great. I can't wait until I see the Rey the Grey and how she's gonna be. Because I don't know how it's gonna be. But what if in Christianity it happens the same way? What if there's not heaven or hell? If it goes away, if it ends, and that somehow we use the power of the dark side and power the light, and somehow, bring together and become even more powerful and come together in Christ, let's say. That would be wonderful. I think that would be just really, really cool. And I'm looking forward to the movie because of that. And I don't know how they're going to do it, but I look forward to it. And hope you are too. And if you're complaining about the end of Jedi, I guess I could understand that. You have invested a lot of time into Jedi or to the dark side or whatnot, but maybe that just needs to end. It's gonna end. And that is an exciting thing about the upcoming Star Wars movie. Yeah, tell me what you think. Maybe I'm just totally wrong about Rey the Great and the movie's gonna be something totally different. But a lot of people say that it's going to be about that. So I'm looking forward to it. Let me know what you think. I know in the movie, it would make sense that it's a new journey that is gonna start. But in real life too, maybe it's about time we get rid of heaven and hell and for it to end and somehow combine it together for the world to get better. Right? Who knows, right? Let me know what you think, if you're looking forward to the movie or not. Let me know what you think about this video, because I'm gonna try to make more videos about movies and other things in life and news that somehow applies to my faith, if you will. Anyways, if you liked it, please like this video, share with your friends, and please subscribe. All right, and let other people know about this channel. Thank you for joining me today. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.